Well, hey, everybody. Here we are. It's Wednesday evening, so we're just all getting together, just already chatting about stuff. And glad you could join us. Hey, if you haven't done so before, you might think about just joining us here on Zoom. If you go to the Facebook page, I've posted an announcement about this live stream, and I put the link right there in the description. So all you have to do is click it, come on into the room, hang out. Seems like most weeks here lately, we've been having somebody, join us that's new or hasn't joined us in a while. So that's always fun to see who's out there and what's going on. So thanks for your participation. So anyways, we were just chatting about glass build. That topic came up. So that's getting close now. And it's been a couple of years since I've been there. And I didn't go last year, but I'm definitely planning on going this year. And everybody else going?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm planning it.
I'm on the fence.
Where is that this year?
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that ought to be fun.
You going, Brian?
No, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. No.
It's a pretty good expense. Obviously, as you know, from this side of the world, Atlanta certainly is just an hour and a half drive for me. It's a lot easier, but I don't know. We'll see. I typically go. This may be my first Las Vegas that I've not gone to. So we'll see.
Hey, it's all write-off,
Hey, is anybody on this call?
That makes it free, right?
Yeah. What's that, Keith?
Sorry.
Is anybody on this call have any supply and demand issues with any of their current products?
Supply and demand. Any shortages or anything?
Maybe brushed bronze ladder handles, 8-inch or 6-inch ladder handle.
If there's any products that you're having a hard time getting a hold of, even though they're not out of them, but there's supply and demand issues, going to Glass Build single-handedly will get rid of that problem.
Oh yeah,
You go see these people in person. I'm telling you from experience. You go meet them face to face. And I came here just to see you, and so grateful. Blah blah blah. Maybe do a post. You will not have shortage issues. Because no one ever talks about, there's not an outage issue. There's just supply and demand issues, which means they'll send the products to the people they want to. And so I would argue you just really can't, if you have a supply and demand issue, you can't afford not to go there.
That's a good point. Yeah, you get to know people and they know your face and they remember you. Then when you call, somebody's going to get those parts.
We talked about all relationships, right? That's one of the biggest right there. You will go out of your way to see them. That's big.
With a company like Cardinal, though, you're dealing with a customer service rep that I don't know. Does it work for something like that too?
Well, my first question would be, do you have a supply and demand issue with Cardinal?
On a couple of specific parts, yes. Like I said, like brushed bronze ladder handles.
Do they not have them?
They're not shipping until October, is what they say. Now, I don't know if they say they don't have them or if they're just slow.
I'm not saying this is the answer, Brian, but I can tell you these guys are dying to have people in their booths there. And you say, I came here to see you personally. I've been buying from you for years. I'm a big fan of your product. I want to continue selling your product. How we looking on the vibrant brush bronze or whatever the finish is? And by the way, a year from now, it's going to be a different color. And so the issue is never going to go away. It's just who can build the strongest relationships. So it's not a foolproof plan, but I'm telling you, it cuts you to the front of the line.
That makes sense.
I went there one year It was after True Light took over a company here in Fremont called Western States and drove into the ground. And I found the vice president of True Light. And I just let her out of it. You took a perfectly good company and just ruined it. So it does work at the trade show, finding people.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have, somebody's high up, their cell phone number, or to have that established relationship with someone where you can send them a text message.
Well, if a
Something
sales
else.
rep's there and he's servicing 100 people, but only 5 of his current customers show up, these guys are at the booth and they have to report back to somebody. And so they want, one thing that I've been doing, you guys, you might want to look at this, like right before you rate, go write a Google review. You'd be surprised how many of these massive companies have 3, 4, 5 Google reviews, and none of them are 5-star. Like, go out of your way to do something for them before you ask something. I'm telling you, these little things go a long way. I mean, we're not doing anything special. We're just doing all these little soft skills. Water just beats the rock.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's not just supply demand. Sometimes you just need it quicker. You just need somebody to not follow their normal procedure to get it through quicker for you. And when you have
The
that
same
relationship,
person-
it helps.
The same person, Brian, that says they can't get it to October is also the same person that can do it if they want to. There's a big difference. You
Right.
got 5 installs you got to do this week, but if someone flashed 10 grand in front of your face, you'd move them to the front of the line. You'd figure it out.
Right.
And they're no different. They put their pants on the same way you do.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it just makes sense that if you've got to take care of somebody and you've got this person who's showing up at Glassville, they're networking, they're talking to people, that they have a lot of relationships, right? Because they're showing up to these networking events. Now, who do you want to make sure likes you? That guy who's talking to everybody, shaking everybody's hand, knows everybody, or the guy who, nobody knows and he doesn't really have anybody to tell whether he's getting good service or not. You want to be that guy, that kind of squeaky wheel, that hey, I want to take care of this guy because he knows a lot of people and he's talking to a lot of people. And if I do him a solid, he's likely to be telling everybody, what a great company we are. Yeah. Just makes sense.
When we used to first go, my father and I, Doug, we'd follow around. I don't know if everybody knows Tom Whitaker from Mr. Shower Door.
Oh,
We
yeah.
used to follow around on his coattails, and we wouldn't say anything. We'd sit there and listen, and he talked to these same people we were buying from, and we'd hear how he was doing his little deals and getting favorable either discounts or lead times. And then we'd wait. Tom would go, get VIP dinner somewhere, and we would go back into that booth and say, we basically regurgitate exactly what he said. And so if you hang around those booths long enough, maybe it's not Cardinal that's going to help you, but maybe there's a shower door company in the Midwest that's buying these handles that you want by the hundreds, and you strike a relationship with them and pay a couple more points. I mean, we've made a lot of those relationships there at the show. So maybe it's not even the vendor. Maybe it's somebody that's already buying from the vendor.
It's exactly
Right.
the point I was going to make.
Yeah.
When they see you at the show, Brian, then they're going to say, well, who else? What other booth is he going to stop at? If we can't supply him, he's
Right.
got to look for somebody else, right? So now it's
Yeah.
also got a bug in your ear that maybe they're not even going to get your business. They should, but you can't hold your business hostage to that. You have to find those handles or hinges or whatever
Yeah.
else you need. So good point.
It's always going to be something.
It's always
Makes sense.
something.
Always.
It's a fact.
So what size ladder poles were you looking for?
6 or 8 inch. I can't remember which at the moment. Brush bronze.
Oh, brush bronze.
Back
Yeah.
to back, right?
Back to back.
If you send me an email, I can check our inventory for you.
I'll do
That's-
that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice. That's nice.
See, it's about relationships.
That's all it is. Of course
That's all
it
it
is.
is.
Do they
You
need to
didn't hear,
be
you didn't hear how
round?
much they were, Brian.
No,
Right.
one bridge at a time.
It's supply and
One bridge at a
demand,
time.
dude.
That's right. You're killing me, Keith. Oh, come over here.
The bag of sugar costs $2, but that little metal thing on top costs 200.
Gotcha. What was that,
Yep.
Brad?
Yeah, did you want the round bar type that are the ladder
Yeah.
poles? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not certain, but Structures in Florida might have that. I know they have the square ladder poles, and they've got them in that finish.
Almost everybody has the round ones. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Structure could be a good company. They just haven't brought enough in. I mean, they're importing it like everyone else. They just don't bring in as big a quantity because they don't have the customer base yet. So the timing may be right.
They're growing a lot. I've seen so many changes in the
Yeah.
years that I don't give them a lot of business, but I give them a fair bit. So, but they come out with stuff. So,
Good point.
Brian, didn't you say you're using HMI card and all out of Louisville?
Yeah.
Man, we just
Yeah,
had a glass delivery yesterday, about 40 pieces of glass, I guess. It was a lot. And we got most of the way through the stack. And one of the pieces was broken. And come to find out, it wasn't tempered.
Whoa.
I was gonna say it would have been in a hump.
Did it have?
It wasn't tempered, man. I'm real concerned. I need to figure out who I can reach in their company that is higher up, if anybody has any names, because when you talk to the people that in their team, Pod 4 is the team I deal with, I'm not getting the answers I wanted to know.
I can help you, Brad.
Okay.
Can help
Thank you.
First of all, look at the glass. See if there's a bug on it.
There is.
Okay, so they bugged it.
They bugged it.
You still got the label?
Oh yeah, they're picking up samples of it tomorrow.
Ask them for the tempering log. You want to know the date and the time because that's part of the certification. They have to keep that record. You want the date and time that piece got tempered.
Got it.
All right, then they know you're serious.
This is actually what I was asking for, and I'm not quite getting it right now. So, and of course, I get business and busy and sidetracked and everything else, and that, you know what I mean. It's just,
Yeah.
But I need to get some answers because I want to make sure that we don't have other pieces that's going to be an issue.
Well, okay. Now, before we go too deep, you say it's broken. Can you define that? Because to some
Big,
people, a sliver.
big pieces.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're sending them back some big pieces, including the temper seal on it.
Document everything.
Are they broken like in pieces like it was heat strengthened instead of tempered?
Not really.
Just like it's still annealed?
Yeah, almost. But what was weird is I saw on the edge of one of them where it looks like some chipping, like it was being, what do they call that? When they, like somebody takes something and chips the edge.
A hammered edge, chipped
Hammered edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the edges kind of looked like that. That was interesting to me. So I'm sure it had a certain amount of heat treating, but not heat treated like you would expect.
So
Chris, how can you tell the difference? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not an expert on tempering. I just know that it's not tempered.
How do you tell the difference between heat treated and tempered? Because you brought it up, Chris.
Usually they're logs. They're
Oh,
logs.
I mean-
There's a big difference. The tempering is not supposed to break any bigger than, I believe, the size of a nickel or dime. And heat strengthened is supposed to break up into these islands. Maybe they're sporadic, but it's not like in half. It's got the whole thing breaks, but it's like a multiple of tempering times, I don't know, 10. right?
Right. It's
So-
like that. It's like it breaks kind of the same way tempered does,
Yes.
but in big chunks.
Big chunks.
Here's
Yeah.
a piece of heat treated glass that broke.
Yeah, some of these pieces were well
Yeah.
over. Yeah, so what are you showing us there?
That's heat treated,
Wow.
wasn't tempered properly. So it's heat treated instead of tempered.
That kind of broke into like strips or something
Yeah.
here.
So
I
Brian,
think
when you
there's
got a-
actually a little sensor he can ask for. If you just call and say, listen, I'm worried about this in the future, they'll send you like this thing and you can, whoever checks in your glass can scan it, or I know there's a way of doing it.
I know that like you can put on like polarized
Polarized glass. Yeah. Yeah.
and you can see kind of the size of the little,
Yeah.
if they're really small little dots or if they're big, dots.
Oh, really?
I've got a tempered
Yeah.
glass detector.
right.
Oh, yeah.
CRL sells it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Do they
Yeah.
do something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Google it.
Yeah. We
Thank
used
you.
to,
Yeah.
a long time ago, we used to order glass without the tempering bug, and we would get a certification to have it. But the code is the inspectors want to make sure the bug is there, because when they go out to the house, inspect a home, that's what they look for, is the bug. So when we used to get it without bugs, we had to actually get a detector and bring it to the inspector, and they would use that detector. And it's the only way we'd get it through. But the code really is written that it must be in plain view for the inspector. But there was builders and customers that didn't want that bug. So they asked us to bury it in a channel or put it behind the hinge plate. That doesn't really meet their code requirement, but as long as it's tempered and you can prove it's tempered, the inspector, he'll let it go.
Sure. Okay,
California.
all right. Does anybody know anybody though at Cardinal HMI that might be higher up the food chain?
Well, is not David Coral work there?
Yeah, he's one of the higher ups, I think.
I just reach out to Max Perlstein. He's the best. He'll tell you who you got to talk to.
Oh yeah, no stuff. No doubt.
Max, anytime I had an issue similar to this, I call Max. He'll kind of back channel who you got to talk to and make the introduction.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
But I wouldn't go in there swinging. I'd go in there as
No, I'm
nice as
not.
pie.
I'm not.
Yeah.
No, you could be doing them a favor. Obviously, they don't know it.
Yeah.
Sure.
There may have been 50 panels that went through during that time
Oh
frame.
man, that's a scary thought. Man.
It
Well, it's
is.
a real
Yeah.
scary
Yeah.
thought, because what are we gonna do? I mean, I've got a lot of glass
Yeah. Now,
to deal with.
piece on your, Chris, I'm getting a warning on the screen and it can't be detected. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're coming through.
Oh, that's weird. Anyhow,
Yeah.
now that you have both an annealed piece and a tempered piece, when you go to the shop to touch them, you can almost hear the difference when you feel it. One is a more tinny sound when it's not tempered. It's kind of weird. If you pay attention to it, you have two pieces, you can almost hear the difference.
Okay.
It's got a different sound to it altogether.
I'd buy one of the sensors.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I mean, this is a great time to get one of those.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You know
I need one like today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, actually, they should supply it for you.
Yeah.
Hate to say
Yeah, I
it.
would just send them the bill. Yeah.
You put me in an awkward position.
Yeah. I don't see how they could argue with you on that.
Mm.
I mean,
I've got one that-
I've never heard of that ever happening.
Back in the day, we had a similar issue. Coral ended up giving us those.
Mhm.
And even furthermore, they wanted us to stop shipping the glass back for scratches. We got them to gift us the glass weld systems to remove the scratch removers, because it was cheaper for them just to buy that for us and us remove the scratches than keep sending the glass back.
Yeah.
There
Yeah, you
you
think
go.
about the cost from Alabama to Florida. and
Absolutely.
back,
Yeah.
handling it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's pennies.
Brad, I've got a tempered glass detector if it'll do you any good. I mean, I'm 2 hours north, so
That,
Oh, that's
that might be worth it. I might take you up on that. Okay, Brian?
Just
And
in
Brad-
Chattanooga.
Brad,
Okay.
just so you know, Uber runs a courier thing. You can actually have an Uber
Yeah.
guy drive it there
Yep.
Wow.
and send the HMI the bill.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
Uber Eats basically for glass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. So,
Wow.
well, this is great information. I appreciate all of this.
Hey, that's what we do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Again, it's why the group is so valuable.
Somebody in the group knows something
Absolutely.
about it, I'll tell you. If
That's
not, we'll
right.
pretend like we do.
And Chris, in all your years, you've never run into that?
I have never heard of somebody getting a piece of glass that was stamp tempered that wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it happens all the time, you know, but I've never experienced it.
Well, I
That
hope-
just freaks me out.
I hope it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, right.
Every tempering facility I've ever been to, the glass goes on the bed. The tempering stamps are on the loading bed. They're not like, because even for the human, most guys aren't going to want to bend down on an L-Bux to stamp it. It's easier to stamp it when it's up on the bed. So when it's on the bed, they don't take it off the bed. It goes through the oven. So it's probably a machine related issue, which very well mean, I mean, I know I'm going to sound like Debbie Downer, it's very well mean there's probably other pieces because their furnace isn't just a one and doneer. So if that one went through the furnace and that piece, if that ink is actually, tempered on the glass, I'm sure there was other pieces in there. Might not be for your job or stop, but I would be checking all those pieces until you feel confident.
I'll be checking mine.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
Right.
We
But-
break every morning when ours go through, they have test pieces. First thing they do before we run it is we run it through and we break it every day, just for, because you don't see the tempering. You just assume it goes in one side and comes out the other.
Mhm. There's a bunch of gauges and stuff that tell you that
Yeah.
like it's doing what it's supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Nobody wants to see how the sausage is made. You just want to know the sausage is made.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I would do the same thing. I'd want to just break one just for the peace of mind of knowing that, each batch is getting done properly.
Mhm.
By the
Of
way, Brad,
course.
what thickness was it?
3/8.
It was a pretty good sized panel, like a door maybe, or
Bigger than a door. It was a panel with a seat notch in it.
whoa. Okay,
Wow.
that's serious.
Mhm.
Yes,
it's-
it is.
I mean, it's weakened already just because of the notch, right? So now that it's annealed, it's really weak. That's actually a dangerous piece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you didn't notice it when the driver was there? He dropped off the pallet and left?
No. We were unloading it out of the truck and we got about 2/3 through the stack before we saw that piece.
Oh,
And of course, it was tricky to get it out because it wanted to fall apart on us when we were, taking more pieces off.
yeah.
And yeah,
So they still took it off the truck, or did he just not take it right back?
I took pictures of everything immediately, the shipping label, temper seal, the broken
Good.
glass. And then we threw it all in a dumpster. And then they said, well, hey, we want to look at that glass. Can you save us the pieces or some of the pieces? And so I said, well, yeah, I got to go get it out of the dumpster. But we boxed it up and they pick it up tomorrow.
All right.
So,
Fill us in next week on what happened. That's going to be
Okay.
interesting.
all right. Be
Yeah, that's
interesting.
cliffhanger.
Well,
You guys
Stay
have had a lot of
tuned.
those.
Stay tuned.
if they had a temporary power outage as it goes through the quench part, you're supposed to eject everything that was in the furnace at the time. And some people may try and push that. Ours, you can't. A Moppy has a sensor in there. It sets the alarm off and you have to reject it. Some of the older ones, they kind of like spin the wheel and hope that it was tempered properly. Depends how long your power outage was for.
Yeah. Well, the rep evidently that we deal with used to work at Coral years and years ago. And he said that they had an issue once where one of the burners went out or something of that nature. So a section went out or something, and they had some glass that went out that didn't get tempered properly.
Who's the rep?
Gosh, I was afraid you'd ask me that.
Mike Bailey?
Doug Powell?
Mike Bailey.
Mike
Bailey, yeah.
Bailey.
He's my
Oh my
rep.
gosh.
He's my
Yeah,
rep.
you name drop us. Tell them our guys in the group are gonna blast you if you don't take care of this.
Well, he
We
knows
know
about
Mike
it
Bailey.
for sure.
We know Mike Bailey.
Okay. All right. Do you think he can pull some strings to get to the bottom of this thing?
Yeah.
Again, depends if
Well,
he
they're
wants
going to
to.
want to get to the bottom of this. I mean,
Yes.
this is not something that anybody's going to want to just sweep under the rug. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that makes my problems seem small.
Thanks, man.
Of course, my problems are small. So.
But you know how that
Good.
plays down the line too. You install something that's not tempered and something happens. First person they go after is you.
Yeah.
Then you got to try and backtrack it to them. But if the glass breaks and somebody gets hurt and you can't even find the tempering logo because it's broken, unless you only buy from them, you don't know where the glass came from. Unless
Well,
you
we
keep
got
the
records on our computer
You-
system. I mean,
Yeah,
we got
you
that.
can defend yourself, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be expensive just to defend yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, your insurance company's not going to do it. Your
Oh
insurance
my
company's
God.
going to pay.
What I need to do is
Everybody's going to
do some
pay.
quality control checks, go out there with a detector and, check things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
what they do is they well, you guys know, you sue everybody. Sue
sure,
everybody who's even
anybody
anywhere
with
near it.
money and the HMI will be the one with the deepest pockets,
Yeah.
so.
There's another point for going to glass show. You'll learn a lot of that if you go to the glass show. Now that you're armed with this information, because there are other temperers at the show, other glass suppliers at the show, and you can talk about that situation. Again, you get a lot of information there.
Sure.
I
Well,
point- I point to Brad, but I'm actually saying that for Brian's purpose.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Just another reason to go.
Mhm.
I'm listening for sure.
It helps.
Plus, you can hang
Appreciate
out
it.
with us. I mean, what could be better than that,
That's the best part, right?
right?
Well, that's the only reason I go.
Go to a buffet.
Yeah.
Maybe see an Elvis impersonator or something. Who knows?
Maybe we could do a
There's
live
that.
show. We can do a live show on the floor after it closes.
Absolutely. That sounds killer.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
I think if you talk to Andrew, they would set you up a spot right there. So you could almost do a podcast from the booth. You could probably do it from the NGA booth. Just designate an hour or so of their time.
Oh, yeah.
They
BNG.
usually have a couple rooms dedicated for media and podcasting and stuff. So I bet they already got it set up.
Nice. Yeah. Sure, that's right. They're professionals.
You got some pull, Chris.
Yeah. We'll see.
You
It's all
talking
good
about-
on paper.
you
That's
talking about
right.
Angie?
No, they're nice folks. They've always been really, really kind to me and treated me really well. I love the NGA. I'm a member. You should be a member too.
Who's Angie you talking about?
No, NGA, National
Oh,
Glass
NGA,
Association.
okay.
National Glass
Or
Association.
Andrew Herring.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So what are some other good reasons to go there?
You go in
Let's
to
see.
find your suppliers and make them take you out to dinner. That's the best part.
I would have said caulking, but Chris, that wouldn't.
Caulking.
I made it. It's 9 o'clock.
Dude,
I-
let me tell
yeah,
you,
Yeah, right.
let me tell you something about Vegas and caulking. So
Yeah.
when I was an apprentice, they were building the they call it like a composite on Nellis Air Force Base. They were building a medical center, so it was like half hospital and half like VA, basically. And this building or this campus was just like acres and acres of like glass buildings. And my job was primarily caulking, you know, and it was like these big like sausage guns full of back then it was like Vulcan. And it's like the Army Corps of Engineers is who's running the job, right? So that's who you know who is inspecting your stuff. So I mean, I like had to caulk like miles and miles of this Vulcan as an apprentice with like the Army Corps of Engineers breathing down my neck. So it's like I got pretty good at it, but it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And this is why. Whenever you're caulking and you tool, you always have to remember the right the right sequence of events. So you caulk, lick, and wipe. Don't ever wipe then lick, because yeah, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth for caulking.
yeah. I love that one. And then I've done that. And then I've doubled down on that, drilling a hole. I got my driver bit in here. I take my spear point, switch it out, throw it in my mouth, grab the driver bit. And when I close my mouth, you can see the perfect circle from where I burnt my bottom to top lip.
I smell
an
cheese
idiot.
cooking.
Yeah, everybody's got to do it at least once.
Oh yeah.
So the fun part about caulking was having two-part caulking. You had,
Oh yeah, the
and
two
you
part
had a
stuff.
half hour to do it, or so. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, those were the days. I like shower doors.
I always told the Corps of Engineers guy, says, I can't see it from my house. It looks just fine. They never liked that.
They don't like that saying.
No.
Well, I came in about 3 minutes late on this. And so was the topic originally why go to the glass show?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you get ideas all the time, right?
yeah.
Always.
I mean, all kinds of ideas. And like
Good ideas, bad ideas. Even
What's
some
that?
bad ideas, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Well,
But,
okay, good example, really good example. You can learn what other product is out there, right? For instance, when the grids were really starting to come around, there were 3 or
Sure.
4 vendors that had grid doors up there. Some of them were very difficult to clean because they had open grids both inside and outside. One of the other companies had it outside only. Some had the grids applied with double-sided tape. Some of them were painted on the glass. So now you can start looking and understanding each vendor and what they had to offer. So when you're going out to a house to measure and say, hey, I got a quote from Dreamline, well, at least you understand what Dreamline is selling and you know what you're trying to sell against. That's
exactly.
the other thing. It opens you up to what else is out there. I'm looking at barn door styles from 10 different companies, and each one has their own idiosyncrasy. An anti-jump bar, a nicer stopper, a better guide on the bottom. One of them has too much space where you can actually put a bottle of shampoo between the panels of glass.
Yeah,
So,
right.
some of them are so wide, it's ridiculous. And they give you this huge gasket to fill the space. But it's really good to learn what other vendors have out there so you know what you're selling against.
Which is what I'll be looking for in this next show.
One of my favorite ones was, let's see, 15, 17, 2018. As soon as Doug and I come down the escalators, the first booth we saw was a company called, is it Podium? Podium. And it was a web-based app for Google reviews. But what we were looking for is we wanted to give something more for the installers, another incentive to, just kind of break up the monotony and make them feel like there's more to get. And so that we knew that the Google reviews they were a big component on your SEO rankings on your website on the homepage of Google. The Google reviews are actually more important than you paying to be on the top of the list. And the point of their app was the installers, when they were done, the customer says, "Oh my God, this is amazing." They're like, "Well, if you really think so, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you did a Google review. Would you mind me sending you a link?" And this link didn't require them to do a sign in or password or any of that shit. I don't know how it did it, but it allowed them to receive a text, write a review, and hit send, and it automatically uploaded.
Mhm.
And then the managers could account for how many of these Google reviews they were getting, and they could kind of like interact through this app. And it really set off our Google reviews. That's when we really started getting them, because we, just like the rest of us, we kind of forget about it and you get it through the monotony, but they're getting paid for every one of these Google reviews. And before you knew it, we blinked our eye, there's 2,500 Google reviews, all 5-star Google reviews. And our SEO ranking is number 1. And there's a correlation between those two. Google likes to retrieve all the data from relevant users, and they deem you as a professional because everybody keeps leaving these Google reviews. And so that was one of the favorite things that we picked up from Glass Build. And we had no idea that this was even a thing. And if we weren't at the show, we would have never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it's become easier and you don't necessarily need that, but there's always something there, always.
So you're not using Podium anymore?
No, we still are.
Okay, yeah.
Well, what he's saying is it's easier. There's Testimonial Tree. There's probably 10 others now since
Yeah.
they found Podium back in, what was it, 18, Keith?
17, 18, right
17?
around there. Yeah.
And we're still using them.
Well, Podium does a lot of other stuff besides just that, right?
Yeah, it's almost like a constant contact also. You can send emails through it. They have other features and functions.
The Google reviews was kind of the hook to get you in. And then once you started seeing the other things, it was like, okay, you can do that, but you got to pay for this license and that. And there's some good things to it. It's just nothing that we had use for at the time. The Google reviews, and more importantly, people aren't typically going to leave Google reviews, especially if they got to create an account and now it's personal information. This kind of bypassed all that, which made it really convenient.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. I mean, it takes making it really, really convenient for somebody to do that for you.
Exactly. But the benefit where it helped us too is it gave the installers the incentive that if they could get paid for these reviews, that they're going to sweep up every little thing, even though they're always supposed to do it anyhow. It just reinforced it. It made them better installers.
Yeah, they didn't want a bad review because they're like, oh my God, if I get a 1-star review, everybody's going to see that I got. And so they don't want to be held accountable by their peers. Like, what are you doing? You got a 1-star review. You're going to be doing removals for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of bonus do you give your installers for the reviews?
We give them a number that each store has to, I shouldn't say store, each location that the installers come out of have a target number to hit each month. And once they get that, then the company kicks in like $250 that's split between the guys. If they get to the next tier, then we jump it from 250 to 300 to 350, but it starts at 250. So the company always puts $250 out there every month, and it gets split among the number of guys pro-rationally of who are the ones that get the reviews. The ones that hustle is going to make more money.
There's been guys that get an extra $500 a month. I think we did TVs one month on top of that just for, all these 5-star Google reviews. I mean, what are you willing to pay for 1,000 Google reviews?
Oh,
5-star.
Awesome. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Keith, you're right about the rankings on Google. Google loves those Google reviews. I mean, there's nothing that's good for your SEO as that.
That's correct. Better than Yelp, better than Better Business Bureau, better than all of that. I can't even believe Better Business Bureau is still in business.
Google Analytics just came out with a new platform. So like, for instance, like, so I have Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and on each one of those platforms, there's a hyperlink to go right to our website. And every day I can see how many people, new users, went to the website, but I also know what platform they come through. So if I run a certain campaign on a platform, I say, oh, wow, this campaign really worked, or this one was a total flop. I'm not going to do that again. And so now I can start really honing in the pipeline and targeting the marketing that's going out through the social media, because I know which ones are going to generate clicks to the website. And you start getting them in the funnel and narrowing it down.
Mhm.
Yes. It's a good thing.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, one thing I started doing years ago is, Keith reminded me when he was talking about, when you finish up a job and the customer's just stoked about it. They're like, oh, it's wonderful. I used to pull out my iPhone and be like, hey, would you do just a quick little video, just like 2 minutes? And people would almost always agree to it. And so if you look on my my YouTube channel or something, like way back, there's a bunch of these little 2-minute reviews. I was just a customer. It's like, oh yeah, Showcase Shower Door did my shower and it's great. They were fast, they did a great job. They were friendly and whatever. And those things were awesome. I don't know why I stopped doing that. I need to start doing that again, because really it's super easy to do, especially if you catch them right at that moment when, they're just so happy. Oh yeah, stand there in front of your shower door and just remember to mention the name of the company, and that's because like, oh, well, what should I say? I'll just mention the name of the company and just say that you're happy. And a lot of times the most shy people would like go on for like 5 minutes, about how wonderful you are. And man, there's nothing better than just a third party talking about you.
One of the really
So they
neat
say,
things
what
to-
should I say? And you whip out a script.
Right, exactly.
Just,
Oh,
just
go.
read this.
Showcase Shower Door is very good.
Now, soon as they start nodding their head that they're okay, I turn the camera on and just like follow my lead. And I basically, yeah, we came out here. Do you like what happened? And yes, and they mention the company. Don't even give them time to think about it. Sometimes the videos can get real awkward.
Excellent. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't stand there and coach them or ask them questions like you're interviewing them. Like,
Yeah.
so what do you like about Showcase Shower Door?
Yeah.
What was the best part of getting your shower door done?
Chris,
Would
one of
you
the neat
refer
things
us to your friends?
Yeah, would you refer us?
set your camera up on a stand and do like they do with the flip and flop shows. Do the reveal, right? The bathroom door is closed. You talking to the camera. Okay, now's the reveal. I'm going to go get the customer. They're going to look at the door. Set your camera up there and get their expression as they come in.
Oh, that's a good idea.
5 out
And then
of 10
just
are
get
going
their
to be
permission
gold.
to use it after.
Yes, 5 out of 10 are going to be gold.
It's always easier to get forgiveness than permission, right?
Yeah, just say, hey, I just wanted to get your expression. If you don't mind, I'd love to share it, because that's how people feel when they see the job done.
Mm.
It's a simple thing to do. You'll have fun doing it.
That's actually an excellent idea.
And what's going to make you a better installer too is that you're going to clean up everything again. You're going to make sure the tape marks are there, the caulking looks good. You're going to have it all presented for them. So when that door opens and they get to come look at it, they'll go, oh my, that's great. And you'll get all that. Just record it. You can edit it later. Just record it all.
Love it.
You can set a GoPro up for the whole installation. Just have
Yeah.
it ready for the end too. A lot of good stuff.
I used to do that. I used to like record everything, it's just like end up with like miles and miles of like footage.
Yeah,
It's like,
Apple
oh,
loves
man.
you. Apple loves you because you got to keep buying cloud storage for all of it.
What am I going to do with all of this video? But yeah, that's, somebody suggested that to me at some point. And I was like, wow, that's a great idea, because, everybody's got their phone with them. And it's really easy. Just, hey, would you like to do a quick testimonial for me? And most of the time people will say yes. It's just really easy.
Yeah. What do you find is the first thing that the people like during the reveal when they come in? What's the first thing that they look at or their overall impression? Is it,
That's a
oh
good
my God,
question.
the bathroom looks bigger, it looks brighter, it
Mhm.
looks cleaner. I'm glad I got rid of the old hunk that was in there before because it looked disgusting.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wondering what the most common saying is.
That one that you just mentioned, like, oh, you should have seen the bathroom before.
Yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
the most common thing I ever hear. Oh, you should have seen this before. It was terrible. We had, they start describing how it used to be. And we took that wall and we moved it over a little. And there was a tub right there. It was green, it's like it was done in the 60s and everything was just horrible.
So how many doors do you install where you're going in and doing a removal of an old door, installing your new door in the same day? In other words, you've already pre-measured with the existing door in there. They're not making any tile changes, and you're just following the same path that the old door was. So they're going to
I did that today.
Okay,
Oh, there
so
you
they're
go.
going to see the instantaneous
Yeah.
transformation, right? Those are the most
Yeah.
impressive ones.
Yeah, the comment was, wow, my shower's a lot bigger. That I didn't realize how small that door made it look.
There
It was
you go.
reeded glass too, the old one. But
Yeah, so it opened it
yeah,
up,
she
right?
was like, wow, this is big. I didn't realize how big it was. Yeah.
That stuff is
Just a
gold
door.
right there. Just gold. If you had
Yeah.
your phone recording that when it was coming on, I mean, that is
Yeah.
gold.
Well, it's actually, you can kind of sell it as the cheapest remodel for your bathroom, because if they do nothing else, no other expenditure other than replace the shower door, get the biggest bang for the buck.
Without a doubt.
It's a good marketing move. I like that.
Yeah.
It's the most perceived value, right? It puts them into a complete, frame doors make it look dated. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
If it has the old Aquatex glass or reeded glass or textured glass, it really looks dated. If it has the old gold color aluminum frames with the piano hinge all the way down, it looks dated. So all of that stuff, what a difference.
We have a lot of high rise.
Although, and those make great before and after pictures too.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
The before and afters down here, we have a lot of high rises or gated communities. So they have these Facebook pages. You do a before and after shot or video or reel and tag that condo project or subdivision. There's a likelihood that every other one of those houses has the same exact unit. It starts spreading like fire.
Yeah. It's funny. We did this shower door for there's a Hall of Fame baseball player, and they live in a high rise, and the wife wanted our doors, but her neighbor had just got them. So she had to go, her neighbor got 3/8 chrome. She had to get the 1/2-inch low iron. And it was just funny. They had the exact same unit, but she just wanted a nicer one. Whatever they have, I want the upgrade.
Brilliant.
I want the upgrade.
Yeah. Your neighbor got this. You should get this. You should add this on.
Unless you don't think you can afford it.
Ouch.
Just kidding.
Nice. Yeah, there's this kind of a building like that down in Pacific Grove. And I got a call from this customer there, and their condos, they just have like these single door showers, but I think there's 2 or 3 of each bedroom has one. So I went and did one of these shower doors for a person who lived there. And then I started getting calls from other people, that same sort of a thing. So I've been out there, and it was like the first one was like, oh man, that's kind of a pain, because it's, you got to get there, and you can't park in the front of the place for more than 30 minutes, so it was just me doing it. So I had to go up the elevator and everything. So I figured out how to like set up my cart and put all my stuff on my cart. And then I put my door on a glazer saver, so it's like real easy to kind of just roll it, through the building. And so I figured out I could actually get the customer to take my cart. Like, hey, would you push my cart for me? And they would. So I could and just have my my door on a glazer saver and just roll it into the elevator and really do it all just in one trip, which was pretty cool since it was just a single door. But I ended up doing I don't know, 3 different condos up there, and a couple of them, I did both doors. Or there's I think there were 2 bathrooms with 2 bedroom, 2 baths, something like that. Why not?
Definitely. If you treat
Nice neighborhood.
you treat the customers right in those high rises or those developments, you're going to get business there for life. They're going to tell their neighbors. We've said that a long time ago. It's nice to get builders and remodelers, but they don't share good subs with the other builders. They have a good sub. They like to keep them to themselves. But the homeowners, they'll go out to dinner with them and say, oh, you want a shower door? Use this guy. They'll recommend you night and day. So you get so much repeat business from doing homeowner work. But it's all about soft skills too. You have to know how to talk to them and treat them right. But Chris, by you getting them involved, push the cart, they're already part of your team right there before you've even drilled one hole. They're already part of your team. Then they'll follow you back out to check out your truck and make sure you're an organized guy. Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that. It's true. I mean, because I'm hesitant to ask a customer to do anything like that because I feel weird about it. But really, it's the best thing you can do. I mean, if you can involve them in some way where, they're not at risk of getting hurt, God knows you don't want to hurt your customers or anything. But something like that, pushing the cart, I mean, anybody can push a cart, and there's no danger involved or whatever. And they feel like you say, they're on the team.
They're on the team. You're part of it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's an immediate bond. We used to have
they
a
feel
salesman.
useful, yeah.
We had a salesman that used to, he'd go for his early morning appointments and he'd get to there and they'd say, hey, you want a cup of coffee? And he would always turn it down. And then one day he said, I decided to do it. And they had me sit at the table and made my best sale. They were easy. He says, now I never turn down a cup of coffee. Anytime somebody do it, I'll sit down with them and you get that chance to bond before you even get into the sales thing. And made a big difference in just his percentage of closing deals.
I'm with you. I'll never turn down a cup of coffee. I love coffee.
There you go. And it keeps you awake.
Yeah. It's funny. Benjamin Franklin was a crafty guy. And what he would do is when he met a new person, he would borrow something from them. It's borrow a book was his favorite thing to do. So he'd meet a new person, didn't even know him. Say, hey, I heard you have this book. I haven't read it. Can I borrow that book? And they'd be like, well, reluctantly, would loan him the book. And maybe he'd already read the book. He didn't even read it. He'd just take it home and keep it for a while and then return it. And what he found was that people would feel more ingratiated towards you after doing something for you than after you doing something for them. Because, if you do something nice for someone, they kind of feel indebted to you. And that's not really a positive thing. But if you let them do something for you, then they almost feel like you owe them one. And that's really a good position to be in with somebody. It's pretty clever.
It's extremely clever and pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Very accurate.
Yep. So it's a little philosophy for you. No extra charge. Just throw that in as a bonus.
Speaking of that, how can I help you, Chris?
That's right. What can I do for you? Yeah.
Well, you got 5 minutes left. What other reasons would you want to go to the show?
Right.
There's some great shows there to go see other than the glass show. So taking advantage of a mini vacation is a good thing. But, Max was on this show. You go to the show and you meet Max and Andrew and the connections they have. Like he says, anytime he's got some, pick up the phone directly to Max. He's like the worldwide operator in the glass industry. You meet guys like that and he gets to know you too. And he could be feeding you jobs. All of a sudden he gets a call from somebody in the other part of the country. Hey, I got a buddy in Chattanooga. I got a buddy here. Do you know anybody? Max says, sure, I know this one and that one and that one. All of a sudden you're getting jobs referred to you because of Max. So that's the other go in that relationship building.
Mhm.
And it's not just Max. Andrew, I can't remember the girl, Melanie is another girl that's very good with
Melanie, Sarah, there's a whole bunch of them.
from the NGA. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also get to meet the editors of both Glass Magazine and US Glass, the two different magazines, which depending on what type of job you're bidding on or something, just gets name exposure for your company.
Good. That's a great reason.
Yeah, I mean, they're there at those shows and they're looking for content. I found out you send them a press release and for something, you hired 2 new installers or you're trying a new type of truck, they'll print it. They'll print it. Say, hey, Brad Lehman just opened up another place in Atlanta, and they'll print it for you.
Yeah.
No charge, because they need content.
Absolutely. That's true.
Well, we are moving. We are moving to a new place. So
I don't think guys use press releases to their benefit enough.
People don't know how to really. I mean, that's a real art. I mean, if you can do that, that's such great publicity, and it's like free, basically.
It's free because they need content. Just give it something that's good for everyone in the community. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You can think of some angle that would be newsworthy and give it to them. But even your local paper doesn't even have to be, you know, US Glass or Glass Magazine, but just your local newspapers. You got to come up with something that they think would be newsworthy. You know, local business donates to school department, local business does this, you know, whatever the case, send the press release out.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that's a great one. You know, one other thing too is like if you happen to be like an innovator, if you invent things and you've got, you know, an idea for something that, you know, that might be beneficial to the glass industry, those shows are a great place where you can just walk right up to a booth, and usually the big wigs are there. And so like I went to a show in Atlanta and I brought along like a handful of little inventions of mine. And I just like went up to the CRL booth. I was like, hey, who's in charge, you know, of new products? And so that guy right there. So I just walk over to him and say, introduce myself, say, hey, do you have time to look at this? And he's like, yeah, all he's doing is standing around. He's bored as hell, you know, would love to look at my thing. So I got to show him a couple of things and it's like, wow, you know, and I, you know, and not just there, but like a number of different big companies like that. So it could be something like that. It could be something else, but it's an opportunity to talk to someone that you normally wouldn't be able to. Those same guys, if I called them on the phone and said, hey, yeah, you know, I've got a new product. I think it'll fit great in your company. And I want to talk to the person who's in charge of, you know, looking at new ideas. It'd be like, oh, well, you know, yeah, I'll give you his voicemail. And I've made a million calls like that, believe me. And then go to a show and just walk right up to the guy and talk to him. He's like, you know, he gets to see you, meet you, and it's awesome. So maybe I'll do that this year. Maybe I'll show up with something new.
What is it?
I can't tell you. Top secret.
You know, another one, Brad, is, you know, a lot of the suppliers who are there need glass guys in order for their hardware to be sold, correct?
Sure.
For instance, take a company like Q Railing. They've got a great product. They need glass suppliers. So if they knew that you would be either a supplier to them or could install their railing systems, they need you. So you can introduce yourself to those suppliers. Wine closets, the same thing. Humidors. There's companies there, well, for instance, like Vintage View that sells a lot of the racks. It would be great to tie in with a glass guy. So just because they're there, they need you too. I say that same thing to Angie's List every time they call me. I says, you know, you guys need us more than we need you, because with no contractors, you don't have a business.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got no business at
That's
all.
right.
So, that's right.
Hmm.
Well, all right, there you go. We filled it out there. We made it. Good job supplying content for this live stream. Couldn't do it without you guys.
Love it.
Hope you have a great week. And you know where we'll be next Wednesday. See you then.
All right.
All right.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Good night, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
See you at the Glass Show, Brad.
Yep.
And Brian.
Looking forward to it.